Who makes GMOs and why? We are going to be talking about that today. Welcome to Chrysalis Chats. My name is Tanya, and this is where we talk through topics that are important to our collective healing transformation as a society, as far as I see it. So today's topic is who makes GMOs and why? Why? Okay, this whole week's theme is about GMOs. Why? Why are they created? Okay, we've talked about a lot of the hazards of them, but what is the intention behind creating them? Okay, so we're going to delve into that. So a lot of times you hear scientists speak about, oh, GMOs are such a strong solution to this global issue of poverty, of hunger, right? And so GMOs are created to adapt to different climates that are particularly hard to grow in. Okay, so for example, you can look at different environments that are turning into a desert climate with climate change and global warming, right? And you can say, oh, a GMO crop, it's going to do better here. Let's put this GMO crop in the hands of all these people living here so that they can farm it, right? And that seems noble enough. You want to help people have access to food, for crying out loud, of course. That's a humane reason to create a genetically modified crop that is more durable to that climate, to that environment. But what we're missing out of all of this, and that is important for us to understand, is that we are missing something when we say the solution is a GMO crop. When you introduce a genetically modified organism into an environment, you're releasing it into the open, right? You're releasing the pollen and the DNA, all that jazz, into an open environment, into the world, nothing short of it, right? And we don't understand fully when we're altering something at the genetic level. You can go back and watch a previous video about this, but when we're altering something at the genetic level and we're changing its DNA, scientists, just backing up a second, we don't even understand what a lot of our own DNA as human beings does. We call it junk DNA because we're not sure about how it actually affects us or what it does for us. So if we're thinking in terms of genetic modification and we're applying that to a plant and we're putting that in the earth in these climates that are stressed to just do whatever it does, spread wherever it does, we are changing the biome. We are changing the ecological environment of our planet, okay? So if we don't know what it's actually doing in its full effect because it hasn't been around for thousands of years like other plants, or even plants that have been hybridized based off of versions that have been here for hundreds of years, right? Hundreds of years, thousands of years. Because we don't know that, what the ramifications are, because it is a new technology, it is dangerous inherently. It is not known, right? There is a huge danger to changing our entire biome through the introduction of a crop with good intentions to increase people's food supply, okay? So that's, something that we need to think about in terms of the motivations. Why? Why are people making GMOs? That is a reason why, okay? Now let's look at an alternative, because we have a very real problem that scientists are addressing through genetically modified organisms, okay? Hunger, because the planet is changing. 99% of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, has agreed that climate change is a reality, no matter what anybody says. 99% of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is a conglomerate of scientists that represent the entire globe, not just United States scientists, scientists from all over. The IPCC agrees, okay, that climate change is happening, okay? So in order to address this, other than genetically modified crops, we can address it with hybridization, hybridized crops, okay? So you can take a plant, as I've discussed in a previous video, and create a more ideal version of it. Now, in the previous video, I talked about roses. Now, let's just talk about something else like peas. That's the first thing that came to mind. If I like peas, and we're having a hard time growing peas because our climate is getting hotter, and peas are a cool crop, in other terms, they like to grow in cool weather, and we want more peas, how do we solve the problem, okay? You can select specific peas that have sustained throughout the early parts of summer or throughout warmer climates, okay? And then what you do is you take those those few plants out of however many hundreds of plants that have grown better and produced more throughout the heat, and you can propagate them, you can grow them, and then garner the seeds off of those plants and share them with people. This is called selective seed saving, and it is a very real farming method that people have used for a very long time to select different ideal attributes out of plants and then grow them again in following seasons, okay? So that is, just explaining a little more of the motivations behind GMOs. I'm not trying to characterize people as being villains or whatever who are in this industry, but I want you to be informed about what you are ingesting, about what you're supporting, and how to navigate this topic in different conversations in the media, face-to-face, with people that you know, in your own life, okay? Another thing that we need to think about here are that the networks are being interrupted. So we talked about the introduction of GMOs into the climate or into the world, right? But when we think about how the networks of different plants and insects and animals and bacteria are interacting, and we're basically introducing this Franken kind of like piecemeal new organism into the environment, we don't know how those things interact. And so there's these very ancient ways of the earth, right? The earth is this perfect, incredible system that knows how to function, okay? The problem is not Earth, the problem is humanity's ignorance and how we've been interacting with the Earth, okay? So Earth is this very ancient, sacred, beautiful, perfect system, and people in our ignorance have been brought down to this level of consciousness where we need to get more in tune with that Earth again, where we need to take lessons from the Earth. And that's really what this whole week's theme has been about. And I hope you understand and resonate with that concept, that the Earth has information that we can learn as inhabitants of it, okay? So, point being here, we want to support the natural networks that are in play. We want to work in a symbiotic relationship with our planet to produce abundant food supplies for people who are living in challenging climates, okay? It is possible. It is something that I'm sure people out there are working on. Okay, thank you so much for your time and your attention. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, put a comment, let us know what you think. I appreciate you. I thank you for being part of this collective awakening. You are a beautiful butterfly in process. Have a great rest of your day.